Hey everybody, welcome to the Which Way podcast. I'm your host, Misty Jacoby. Today is August 7th, 2024, and it's just after 11 a.m. You know what? It is a beautiful day. I am saying that without even having gone outside yet because I work from home. Most of you know I work from home. My window is open, but I have not gone outside yet. But it is just an absolutely beautiful day. And I had my therapy session this morning. Most of you also know that I do weekly therapy. I really wish that I had recorded my therapy session as today's podcast episode. I know that sounds crazy because it's supposed to be between me and my therapist and it's supposed to be private, but I really wish I had recorded it because I just feel like I'm on a new level, which is a huge thing for me considering what I have just been through, which some of you may or may not know. But I really felt compelled to do this episode after my session because of what we talked about and kind of where I'm at mentally and emotionally. And I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys because I feel like sometimes that helps. Sometimes hearing other people and what they've experienced and what they're going through sometimes really helps with what you're going through. And I know several months ago when I was going through it, I felt alone. And I know that as I scrolled through TikTok, which I know some of you think is silly, but I scrolled through TikTok and I scrolled through Facebook, and I just kept coming up on videos of people talking about specific things that really helped me with what I was going through. And so it made me feel not so alone. So that's what my hope is that with any of my episodes, it just, I don't know, it just makes you feel not so alone. Even if it's weird, even if it's quirky, even if you think it's off the wall and nobody else is thinking about it. I kind of just hope that that's what my episodes will do for somebody, which is why they're just kind of crazy and off the wall and quirky and all over the place. You never know what we're going to talk about. But today I wanted to talk about kind of a breakthrough for me. So I know that some of you may have experienced this, and this goes back as far as I can remember, and I'm going to do the best that I can to leave relationship, I don't know, the statuses, names or whatever out of it, names of people and whatnot, because I am in such a good place right now. I don't want any hate mail. I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want anything because I'm in a really good place and continuing to get better. And I just want to share that with everybody. But I know that as far back as I could remember, I've had relationships with several people throughout my life, and when I say relationships, just understand that I'm not necessarily referring to significant other. I could be referring to parent, child, aunt, uncle, cousin, sibling, friendship. It doesn't matter. Relationship is any of those, all of the above. And I have had relationships with various people where when something was wrong, okay, with them, like maybe they had experienced something, maybe somebody made them mad, maybe it was just a bad day at work, maybe I did something, it could be any of those. And their go-to would be kind of the silent treatment. Okay. Or, just kind of walking around quieter than they normally are. And they're just kind of, you're getting like, it's where your anxiety kind of develops with, what did I do? What did I do? What did I do? I know a lot of you are walking around thinking that on a constant basis. You're just thinking like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? What did I say? And it's kind of because of this. It's because we either grew up with, or we spent a lot of time around people that would kind of give us the silent treatment when something was on their mind, and it may not have even had anything to do with us, but they just kind of, went inward and went into their own shell. And this is not to put any blame on any specific person or to say that they're at fault for that. Some people, that's how they cope. They go inward. Where it starts getting confusing is the lack of communication. For me, I try to be mindful of it. And so I try to let people closest to me know, hey, I'm starting to hermit. You didn't do anything wrong. And sometimes I don't recognize that I'm doing it. And so it's again, not to put blame on people, because some people, that's how they cope. They just go inward and they hermit when they're going through stuff. The problem with this on the other end is that the other person develops anxiety around, what did I do? What did I say? Again, when it may not have even have been anything that you did or said. But quite often, quite often, maybe it was something I did or something I said, whether it was a big deal or not a big deal, or whether I thought it was a big deal or not a big deal, it was to that person. And their way of coping with it was giving the silent treatment. Kind of walking around in a way of letting you know you did something wrong, but I'm not going to communicate it to you. I'm just going to make you feel uncomfortable kind of way. And that may not be what they're thinking, but that is, let's be real. That's what they're doing. So they're walking around and they're letting you know by their actions or lack thereof that you did or said something wrong, but they're not communicating that to you, nor are they communicating what they did or what you did or said that made them feel that way. And so you start feeling uncomfortable, and then everything starts getting uncomfortable. And you may have grown up in a situation where that was kind of a regular thing. And so you were kind of like, what's wrong? Are you okay? What's wrong? Are you okay? And then there's the response of, nothing's wrong. I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. I'm fine. And I know that there's a lot of jokes about that going around on Facebook. Like you'll see memes where it's like you ask your girl, what's wrong? And she goes, I'm fine. And it's kind of like this inside haha joke or whatever. But in reality, I mean, it's not funny. And it's also not helpful, because it's making somebody feel a certain way. It's contributing to anxiety. And it's not honestly helping the situation at all. And I feel like recently, like my last marriage was very much into the silent treatment. I mean, when I say silent treatment, I mean ghosting. I mean, in the sense that if somebody were at my house when this was happening, they would start questioning whether or not I was actually married because that person would disappear. Okay. No texts, no phone calls, no responses, nothing. We're talking dead silent treatment. And there's really nothing worse than I can think of, in my particular situation, to really cause an increase in the anxiety. But that, I mean, it was really horrible to feel like, what did I say? What did I do? Why are they not responding to me? And then you're stuck in this loop of, they're angry with me, they're upset with me, they're hurt by me. But I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did. And then you're spending all of your time ruminating on that. And in my last marriage, we'll use just that specific, that's not the only place this occurred with me, but we'll use that as an example. They're out living their best life with people that may or may not be making me feel uncomfortable. We won't get into that. Different episode. However, they're out living their best life, giving you the silent treatment, and they're out there having fun. They're having a blast. They're not even paying attention to you. They're just doing their own thing. And you are spending hours and sometimes days ruminating. What did I do? What did I do? What's happening? I don't understand what's happening. They're out living their best life. Then they get over it. And then they sweep it under the rug like nothing ever happened. And a couple days later, they're nice again. But you're still in this space of feeling sick to your stomach, feeling nauseous, because that's what anxiety is doing. That's what stress is doing, because you don't know what you did wrong. And I feel like I've had a breakthrough. Personally, I've had a breakthrough. So me, I'm like, I woke up one day and I'm like, you know what? It is not my responsibility to try to pull from you what is wrong. It is not my responsibility to figure out what I said or did. It is not my responsibility to figure out what may or may not have happened at work, or with a friend, or with a family member, or whomever has put you in this state of being. It is not my responsibility to ask you what's wrong. It is not my responsibility to spend my time and energy for hours or days ruminating over what may or may not be an issue. I've decided to say, fuck it. And I'm at the point now where it's like, I mean, the people closest to me, obviously, if I see something is wrong, I may ask what's wrong. In my state of, we'll call it healing right now, in my state of healing, I still get very triggered by it. So I'm not one who's necessarily, when I notice something is wrong, I'm not necessarily going to go right up to you and go, hey, what's wrong? Because if my anxiety's kicking in and thinking I may have done or said something, I'm not like, it's not my responsibility. I may or may not love you. I may or may not care about the place that you have in my life. But the thing is that it's not my responsibility. If you have an issue, especially if it's with me, it's your responsibility to come to me and talk to me about what's bothering you. It is your responsibility to tell me what is wrong. It's your responsibility to tell me when you have an issue, not to treat me differently, not to walk around and make me feel uncomfortable, not to make me feel like I have to do all of these things. See, I go back to like when I was growing up and living in certain spaces. I remember like feeling like I had to complete certain tasks or do certain things to be in the good graces. And maybe if nothing happened at work that day or nothing happened with other people that day, or even if it did, maybe when they came home and they saw the stuff that I had completed, they would be in a better mood, and it's like, you kind of revert back to this like inner child state of being in that space. And it's not your responsibility when someone is doing that to you. If someone is walking around and making you feel like they have done something, you've done something or said something to them that's put them in a certain mood, it's their responsibility to come to you. It's not yours to sit there and say, hey, what's wrong? It's not yours when they say, nothing, I'm fine, to keep going, no, I know something's wrong. I know you feel off. Something doesn't feel right. It's not your responsibility. Let them come to you. You do you and you live your best life. Even if, let's say you did say something. Let's say you did do something. Intentional, not intentional, whatever. All of that aside, let's say you did or said something that made them feel a certain way. Could that be viewed at as your fault? Well, sure. I mean, sure. If you did something or said something, whether it was intentional or not intentional, sure, that's on you. However, if they're not coming to you and telling you that, that's on them. If they're not communicating to you that you did or said something, that's on them. And the thing is that if maybe they don't want to communicate it to you yet, maybe they don't feel like they can communicate it to you yet, but where the issue comes up is in the way that they're treating you. They shouldn't be treating you differently. They shouldn't be giving you the silent treatment. They shouldn't be acting differently around you. If they're not ready to talk to you, that's also okay. They don't have to. It is on them to do so, but they don't have to until they're ready. That being said, they still don't need to treat you differently. And I've reached a new point where I'm like, I'm going to do me. I'm going to live my best life. If I want to walk into a store and be bubbly and happy and perky and just la 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 oblivious, trust that I'm not oblivious. Trust when I say I feel the energy shift. Trust when I say I feel that you're off. Believe me when I tell you that I know something is wrong. I may not know what it is, but I know something is wrong. But also believe me when I tell you that I'm still going to do me and be my happy little self. I'm not going to allow my mood to change anymore for anybody. I'm not going to spend hours or days ruminating over what I may or may not have done or said or what the issue might be. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not missing out on any more of my time. Every single second that passes by us is a second that you can't get back. We don't know when we're going to leave this earth. And I'm not going to spend any of it sitting over here ruminating over how somebody else feels. If they're feeling a certain way and it's my fault, I'll own it, but you have to come to me and tell me. We have to talk about it. We have to clear it up because maybe it's a complete misunderstanding. Maybe there's just two different ways of thinking here, and we're on opposite ends of that, and we just don't realize it. But fuck letting people make you feel like you're the problem. Fuck letting people make you feel like you have to spend your days, hours, weeks, however long it is, feeling a certain way. If they have a problem with you, they need to come to you. And you know what? They need to do so respectfully. I am just like at a point now where I'm like, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I haven't done things or said things wrong. I'm not saying that I have always made the best decisions and done everything the right way, because Lord knows I haven't. But Lord knows I've also been working every day, every week, every month, and every year to be better and to do better and to try to recognize. And I will not continue to be punished for who I was or what I was or how I acted or what I said years ago, months ago, weeks ago. I am constantly trying to be a better person. And I am talking to anybody that comes to me with respect, unless they cross that line with me, because I deserve the same as I give now, what I'm giving now. And what I'm giving now is I'm giving everybody the respect that they have earned in my life. I'm giving everybody the place that they've earned in my life. I'm holding those closest to me, very close to me. And I'm just trying to be a better person. And I think if we all strive to do that, if we all strive to say, you know what, I'm not going to act like a little bitch, I'm just going to come to you when I have a problem, things would be a lot fucking better. Things would be a lot fucking better. Because I'm telling you, I spent 5 years, well, much longer than that in my life, but in my last marriage, I spent 5 fucking horrible years trying to figure out why this person left their previous marriage. Again, another episode. Y'all don't want to miss that episode, so make sure you listen. But it's like I spent 5 years trying to figure out why this person came to me, why this person wanted to be with me, why did they marry me? Why did they buy a house with me? Why did they buy a car? Like, why? Just to treat me that way. And why did I put up with it? I've spent so long trying to figure all of this out, and I'm not going to spend any more of that energy. Everything that we've been through is a lesson, and I feel like the lesson that I'm recognizing and learning right now is that I am not going to spend any more of my time or energy trying to figure other people out. If you have a problem with me, talk to me. If you have an issue with me, talk to me. If you have a concern, talk to me. It doesn't mean you're going to get the answer you want, but you're still talking to me. And I'm going to talk to you as long as we're doing the same thing. But don't sit there and let things build up. Don't let it build up to the point to you're lashing out, that you're being hateful, disrespectful, or mean. You know, it's just recognizing that we're all individual people and that we're all mostly doing the best that we can with what we have. And some of us learn from our mistakes. Some of us learn how we can do better and be better. Some of us don't. Some of us don't agree with the way other people do things. We don't have to. That's fine. But people don't have to hold a place in your life either. The only thing that is your responsibility is your reaction, is your behavior, your thoughts. Only the things that you can control. That's what your responsibility is. You can't control anything else. You can't control the decisions that other people make, what they decide to do. You can't control where they go. You can't control, what they wear, who they're with, who their friends are. You can't control any of that. You can only control yourself and how you feel about a situation. And sometimes it's okay to love somebody and not have them in your life. It hurts, but it's still okay. So my whole message for today is try not to take on what's not yours and try not to take on what you can't control. You need to remember to spend every bit of your time doing you. Remember, every second that goes by is a second that you can't get back. And don't let anybody, regardless of who it is, take that joy from you. You do you. It is not your responsibility. It's theirs.